So welcome to my YouTube channel. As promised, I'm going to do a second tour of the allotment in May because such a lot has changed. You'll be really surprised. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. Now, we've had tons and tons of rain. Now, we're only a couple of weeks into May, but at the beginning of May we'd had virtually none. The ground was really hard, things were really struggling. I was having to water things I wouldn't have expected to have had to have watered before. So we've had loads and loads of rain, so everything's really flourishing, which you're about to see. And also it's much easier to dig. It's actually like almost dig it like butter. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm loving it. So first of all, the artichokes have really shot up. Got loads and loads of little artichokes. I've got a little bit of black fly, which I will rub off with a pair of rubber gloves. You can just rub it off to stop it from spreading anymore. So that's a job I need to do. Definitely need my marigolds on for that. The rhubarb, we've been harvesting the rhubarb, so it's looking a little bit bare at the moment, but with all that rain it's going to burst back into life. So the little pears are forming on the tree. I'm not sure, I think they're a little bit bigger than they were last time we went round. So there we go, as we move round. So the fruit cage area, things are really starting to come on. We've got little tiny raspberries forming already, which is absolutely marvellous. If we have a look, things are just starting to bud out there. So there we go, absolutely fantastic. So really excited, it won't be long, we'll have some lovely raspberries, probably about a month, and I might even start picking the raspberries. Lots of lovely bloom on the blackberries as well, so that's really promising. So we're clearly going to get a fantastic crop this year. Loads of buds, loads of blossom coming, absolutely marvellous. I've now covered my gooseberries because they're starting to get a little bit bigger, and I know the birds will have them if I don't. So as you can see, look, they're really starting to get out. You know, I could probably start harvesting those if I wanted to. You can harvest them early and they're a bit more sour. If you leave them on a little bit longer, they generally start to sweeten up a little bit more. So it's up to you how you want them. I've even eaten them raw on my porridge. They're not quite as sour as you think they are, or maybe I just like sour things, honey. So the garlic, I think, is almost ready to dig. If you have a look, you can see it's really swelling out in the ground there. So I will be trying that quite soon. You can see the bulbs are quite big there, but we've had quite a lot of rain, so I'm definitely going to leave it for about another week so they can soak up as much water as they can and swell out as much as they possibly can to get some really nice fat cloves. This area here that was like rock last time you looked at it, I've actually been able to dig it over. The onions, and my main crop onions I planted in March, are starting to come on really nicely, and my overwintering ones. And what I found with the overwintering ones, and I must admit my dad never liked growing them for this reason, is they never get as big and they bolt really easy. So if you see the little bolty bits, just nip them off with your nail. Overwintering onions never keep as well as the ones you plant in March anyway, but they're a good ground filler, and I've nearly finished my onions from last year. I've only got about 3 or 4 left, so they'll feed me. What else was going to be in the ground this time of day, this time of the year I should say. This bit's still covered, I haven't got to this yet. This bit I've started to sow some seeds, so I've got lettuce, parsley, carrots and beetroot in there. And if you look really closely through the net, cameraman, you can see that they are starting to sprout, which is really fantastic. I've put a little bit of this scaffolding net that I get off the internet on, because otherwise I find that the birds quite often nip my little seedlings, and that just really protects them as well. So I think I've mentioned this before, it's something that I use quite a lot because it's quite reasonably priced and it's very durable, and you can use it for lots of different tasks. So I will put a link in the description if you wanted to get yourself some. I bought 50 metres, it's going to last me a really long time. Well, I've used quite a lot of it already on our latest project, which I will show you. The potatoes are looking absolutely marvellous. I can't believe how well they're looking. I'm really hoping to maybe get some new potatoes in June. There's a mixture between here of first earlies, second earlies and main crop. This is my first earlies, and there's little blooms forming on these. It just shows how far on they are, which is absolutely fantastic. So hopefully another month and I might be able to have some lovely new potatoes. Now I don't know if any of you remembered, but this time last year I was given some Cape gooseberries, but it's a little bit late in the season for them, and I was hoping they would overwinter. Now I've got a couple of things that have shot, and I'm not sure whether they are Cape gooseberries or not. I haven't had a chance to look it up yet, so I'm going to be looking it up when I get home. I think that one definitely is, but I'm not sure about that one. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of Googling to see whether they have actually sown again. But I can't actually really remember what the plants looked like before. But so if you know, let me know, but I will be Googling it when I get home. If they are, that'd be absolutely fantastic, because the problem I had last year is that it was sown too late. We didn't have enough time for them to ripen. So now these have started off really, really early. If they do come on, then obviously I'll get some ripe Cape gooseberries, which would be fantastic. I did get a few, but not a lot. This area here, I've just put in some runner beans. I've put the canes in already, really organised. I soaked my board beans in a little dish overnight. Then I drained off the liquid, and then I put it between two moist bits of tissue. I think I've shown you this before, and I waited for them just to sprout a little bit, and then I've just put 2 to each cane and just gently dibbered them into the ground. I've got a few missing, so I'm going to have to start a few more off. That's why I've marked it with my dibber, so I know where I've got to. So if you do that kind of thing, you haven't put it all in, you won't remember where you got to. So just put something in that place so you know when you come back where you've got to start planting, unless they've started shooting up already. So these are my dahlias. I do need to do a little bit of weeding around here. The rain has really made all the weeds grow, but the dahlias are, we could barely see them 2 weeks ago, and look at them now, absolutely shooting up. This area I've just uncovered, and I will have my squashes, courgettes and pumpkins here. I just need to dig it over, and I'm probably going to do that in the next few days, giving half a chance if the weather holds out. And this is our new exciting creation. I wanted a really good kind of like polytunnel to use for various things. Now, one of the problems we have up at the allotment is it's really open up here, and a lot of people buy things and they get ruined because of the wind. And I noticed that everyone's things that stayed up generally had a metal frame. And I must have been looking at other people's allotments and things, but this is actually made from an old trampoline that we've put together. It's just like the circle of the frame with some wooden posts, and we managed to get all this from people that didn't want them. This was a broken trampoline that one of my friends had that she didn't want anymore, and the wood that we put along the posts was someone had done some work on their house and they didn't need the wood anymore, and it was just going to go for rubbish, so we repurposed that. The only thing we had to buy was this, the scaffolding netting, which we've double netted, because if we don't double net, you've got the little holes along here, and the butterflies might come through. They might not do. Some people put bits of string through the weave to get rid of the holes, or some people just double net, and because it's so cheap and it works out, you know, about 50p or £1 a metre, you can easily double net it without feeling the pinch too much, and also tied it on with cable ties, and we've just put some bricks around the bottom just to hold it all down. This year I'm going to put my Brussels and my purple sprouting in here, but other years I might do something different. It just gives me a bit of variety, you know, good cover for something that might get attacked by birds or butterflies, and also protected from the harsh elements if I want to put something else in there to start off early. As you can see, it's pretty sturdy, so hopefully it's going to stay put and it's going to do what we need it to do. So as we move round, I've got some of my other brassicas in. I've got my curly kale in, which I've covered with Enviromesh, because although you often get whitefly on things, it's worse on kale because you actually eat the leaves. When you get a little bit of whitefly on other things, it really doesn't matter that much because you don't often eat the leaves. But on this, if it gets whitefly on it, it's really not very nice. So a little bit of Enviromesh is worth the investment, and I might put a bit of the scaffolding net over the top of it, but it's all covered quite well, so I'm probably just going to do that, and there's no holes in it. And here I've got some Calabrese broccoli, and I've double netted the scaffolding net on that, and just put a little bit of string through my support, just so that because quite often when you cover it, they kind of like dip in, and a little bit of string through the canes works really well. This kind of cover is another really cheap way of covering your brassicas. So all these are the big long canes, so 2 long ones and then 6 shorter ones, and then you just get the little connectors and you push them into the ground. I did this last year and it was just so much easier than a lot of the other things that I had done, and really robust, and it stayed put all year and I didn't have to fiddle around with it. So I can highly recommend doing that as well. So as we move up, the black currants, they're coming on a little bit more as well, and you can see little tiny black currants there. Again, they were just, you know, a suggestion of a black currant before. They've actually started forming. I will cover these as well with a little bit of netting, because same thing, the birds will have them, but you don't need to do it just yet. When they get a little bit bigger and they just start to ripen, then I will cover it, because otherwise the birds might get them. So I do hope you've enjoyed my second tour of the allotment in May, and I'd love to know what you're all doing. Please do like, share and comment, because the more we share this, the more people will get to learn to grow their own amazing fruit and vegetables, and wouldn't that be fantastic?